would know that the situation going on in Syria is constantly evolving. We believe this ongoing situation speaks well to the critical need for the War Powers Consultation Act. The change of events that have occurred, such as their consideration of turning weapons over to international control, show that deliberation is an important aspect in wartime decision-making. While both James Madison and the Naval Academy have made some well-intended points, we believe that they miss the crucial benefit of the War Powers Consultation Act. I first intend to discuss why the War Powers Resolution has failed us as a nation, then prove that the War Powers Consultation Act is more beneficial due to the deliberation and accountability that would take place. And finally, I will address the opposing team's arguments about the President's flexibility. There are no instances in which the War Powers Resolution has been strictly followed. When the bill was constructed in the 70s, it was seen as hasty and a simple compromise. Establishing a framework for when different contexts emerge is critical. We should not rely on a rigid set of procedures that have not been implemented. They have continuously been ignored. With the War Powers Consultation Act, there will already be a functioning guide from which decisions can be made. In the National War Powers Commission's report, it is said that even ardent advocates of congressional power recognize that Section 2C of the resolution too narrowly defines the President's war powers, and many agree that it has been regularly breached. Since the enactment of the resolution, presidents have sent troops into conflict on several occasions when none of these circumstances were present, including Grenada, Yugoslavia, and Haiti. James Madison University argues that the President will ignore the consultation and act unilaterally. Section 4B of the Act specifically says that before ordering the deployment of the United States Armed Forces in a significant armed conflict, the President shall consult with the Joint Congressional Consultation Committee. This act isn't simply something the President can just choose to do, it has to be done. The report says that the President will provide an opportunity for the timely exchange of views. The President cannot notify the Consultation Committee that significant armed conflict has already been initiated. This process will ensure better dialogue. According to the National War Powers Commission report, there will be greater opportunities and incentives for the President and Congress to engage in meaningful consultation. The Joint Congressional Consultation Committee, which the Act creates, provides such a vehicle. The statute also provides clear mechanisms by which Congress can state its support or disapproval of the significant armed conflicts.
How much time does obtaining congressional approval add on to or possibly hinder the operation?
I think it's important to say that we can't specifically say how long it would take, depending on the situation. That time would probably differ. But to provide context for the act, the President Reagan's limited airstrikes against Libya would not count as a significant armed conflict. The two Iraq wars would be considered a significant armed conflict. And the United States campaign in Bosnia in the 90s would also count as significant armed conflicts. As our colleagues from George Washington and Pittsburgh have touched on, the War Powers Consultation Act allows for more cooperation between our branches of government. It gives more flexibility to the President and allows for more legislative power when it comes to wartime decision-making. As former Secretary Baker said, the Act gives the legislative branch more by way of a meaningful consultation and information. It also provides Congress a clear and simple mechanism by which to approve or disapprove a military's campaign, and does so in a way that seeks to avoid the constitutional infirmities that plague the War Powers Resolution. The Act works to give Congress a seat at the table. It gives the President the benefit of Congress's counsel, and it provides a mechanism for the President and the public to know Congress's views before or as a military campaign begins. History suggests that building broad-based support for a military campaign from both branches of government and the public is often vital for success. While the negative team argues that the potential gridlock would slow down the ability to get the bill passed, the President would still be able to use military action if it is an extreme circumstance, resulting in later approval by the Consultation Commission. Getting this approval from Congress is key to bolstering our foreign appearance. A weak and disagreeing country does not look as effective and strong as a nation that can agree on a war plan, a plan to better our world. We do not believe that the President should lose power or flexibility in deciding our military actions, but instead all parties should have responsibility in deciding the factors at play. Congress is the first in line when it comes to the representation of the public. Allowing Congress to consider their constituents is an important aspect of being a democracy. Every voice should be heard. The decision to go to war should not be taken lightly. Congress should no longer be able to sit on the sideline and not face the repercussions of going to war. The War Powers Consultation Act will allow for a better cooperation and responsibility for large decisions.